What up, y'all?
Welcome
to the J&O Show,
where we talk about
Anton Daniels and a panel. We're talking about women having attitudes in the home towards their men. Where it comes from, doesn't matter if the man is going 50-50 versus paying all of the bills. And Anton came out and dropped knowledge on the real reason that women have attitudes in the home towards the men. Stay to the end, because then he starts to break it down so that we can all understand exactly why he believes what he believes. And I agree with him.
push play.
This is the thing. Like, I'm not understanding why it's an issue if your man, the person that you marry, is asking you to have a better attitude. And it's an issue whenever these are things that you need to do anyway. It's a necessity to take care of your child. It's a necessity to cook and feed your children and to feed your household. Why isn't an issue if he's asking, can you be pleasant? Like, you want to go, when you go to the, hold on. When that, because that's what she said. She wasn't pleasant. So when you go into a restaurant, people, you can't tell me that you'll stay in a restaurant if somebody is being unpleasant to you, serving your food, what you want to order. Oh, you want something to drink again? Here you go.
Bruh, let me tell you something. I am known to walk out.
Yep.
No, for real. Drive-through, restaurant, don't matter where it is.
Oh, God.
Like, if you got a stink attitude, no. Why am I going to give you my coins?
Why would I do that?
Okay, this is what I don't understand. When people get married, are they getting married to people that they don't like?
That doesn't make sense.
Forget love, like.
I don't know. That's what it seems like when you hear about stuff like this. Because to me, that's just nonsensical. Like,
I don't get it.
I don't understand how you could be upset that the person that you married to is asking you to be kinder or to be nicer or to be pleasant. Do you go to your job and just be unpleasant?
Well, some people, we've seen it, some of them phone calls, you can hear the attitude through the phone.
Yeah, but usually they don't be there but for so long, because once that customer service supervisor is getting complaints about your unpleasantry, 9 out of 10 times you gonna get the boot if you don't shape up. So I don't understand why they think it's okay for you to act that way to your spouse if you can't even act that way on your job.
You know what it is? People are miserable nowadays.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
They were talking about studies on happiness, and they were talking about the happiness of modern women and how even with all of the freedoms that they have, the choices that they're making are actually making them miserable.
That's just sad, man.
Now, I don't know 100% how you quantify happy, except for asking somebody, are you happy? And then you're dependent on them to be able to interpret if what they're feeling is about happiness. Is the person that you're talking to going to be speaking about how they feel in the moment or just overall in life? Because everybody's different. Everybody thinks. So I don't know how they really quantify the study. But in the study, they say that women are actually less happy as they're becoming more liberal, more free. And they were more happy when they were more conservative and they were doing family and all of that other stuff.
Bet you didn't expect that, Miss Smarty Pants, huh?
Having family and having a certain environment can cover so many bases, but a lot of that is up to you. So if you go and have a family and you make your family life miserable, then when something happens at work, you've already made your house toxic.
Yeah, so now you leave one toxicity
to go to another. And a lot of people have that because they're just generally miserable people.
There is no escape from it.
Because they don't understand purpose. They don't have anything to do with God. And a lot of people be like, well, what's the purpose? Like, God is not real and all of this other stuff. And those are arguments that we can have. But the reality is most people were better when they believed that there was a God that stood outside of themselves and they had something to strive for, something to do. Like, they're going to church, being around people, it gives you something to push for. Now, there was some negative too, because then you got them church folk that be jacking you up. And, a lot of people is church hurt just like they hurt from men or from women. But I think that there's nothing for a lot of people to call on that can bring them out of their misery because they have no purpose.
Because everything is about self.
Nothing higher than themselves, and everything is based on how you feel at the moment. And then how do you know that anything's ever going to get better?
You don't.
Ouch.
Right.
Not living like that.
Where's the hope coming from?
There isn't.
There's no God.
They say
There's
I'm
no-
hopeless.
Yeah, that was my joint for a second.
Like a penny with
Okay,
a hole
she just
in
gonna
it,
keep
hole
going.
in it,
She
hole
just
in
gonna
it.
keep on going. But you know, what are they?
say
Bruh. Yo, what do you have to call on if you take all of those things out of your life? And most people in churches or in religion or whatever, and outside religion, have no sense or understanding of what purpose is or how to get to it either. So I think at the bottom of everything, that is a huge factor in this. Miserable people have made their houses miserable, and then there's nowhere for them to go. So they just like making everybody else miserable too.
That's bad.
That sucks.
Go like nobody's paying for that. So why would someone willingly want to be in a relationship with a woman that is literally unpleasant and just upset and mad at the world when you are literally choosing to be here? If you don't want to be there, then leave.
Women can
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I'm
I'm saying Shorty
All
in
right,
the
y'all
video
can't all
don't have
talk.
Y'all, we gotta do a mic.
I think
I'm
that
saying,
women
go ahead, go ahead.
and men can't. And that's the culture we're in. Women can say, I want a million
Men
things.
absolutely can. Men absolutely can. If
How often
he's
is
providing, he
You're not-
absolutely
How
can.
often is it
Right.
Y'all,
granted?
we gotta do a mic. Mic. Let Ty go and then Kelly.
How often is it granted when men have been complaining about the same thing since forever and they still don't get it? But we can say we can move the totem pole whenever we want, and then when they say, okay, we're not making any more adjustments for you, now it's going to be met with an attitude. Anytime a man requires anything of a woman, it's going to be met with an attitude.
This
No
is
matter
so
what.
simple.
Ty,
This is-
I just said Shorty didn't have a leg to stand on because
No, I'm
because
saying even
the
for
his,
women who are paying 50-50, even for them. Why
the
is it?
reason that y'all operating like this is
Your
because
husband.
The
person
woman
that acts
that's-
like that towards a man, they don't like him. This don't have anything to do with whether or not she gonna have a good attitude or she not gonna have a good attitude. Women that like the person that they with, they don't even have standards unless they.
you
like,
right, Anton.
You only
right.
start to set standards for people that
You don't have standards if you like them. That's interesting.
So it's the idea of if you really like a guy,
You just allow
the
a lot of
woman
things
will
to.
allow him to do a crap ton of things until they get hurt too much.
I mean, I think that's a people thing. Can't just say women because guys do the same thing too.
But he's still hitting on something because he's talking specifically in this debate about why women who are married to a man, or in their case, probably living with a man as well, would be giving their man attitude. And they're like, the man can't say anything because he's not paying all of the bills because he's paying 50-50. And Anton's like, well, it wouldn't matter if he's paying 50-50 or if he's paying everything. If you liked him, you wouldn't just give him attitude because you like him or love him. And I agree with that. I think he's 100% right.
Yep.
First of all, if you give a person attitude, you don't like them. Like, forget your man, like anybody. Like, there's some dislike there. Maybe it's something that was earned, and maybe it's just
Well, I wouldn't say ever.
situationally.
I
What?
wouldn't say ever.
No, I mean,
Sometimes
everybody has moments
I
where
was
they're
gonna
just
say, yeah.
emotional, but they're talking about a consistent
Consistent, like-
behavior
like
where
that.
you're always nasty.
That's your regular regular preset.
Your resting face. If you like somebody, truly like them. He said like. What if you love? This is your man. This is not just your girlfriend. If you love somebody and you like them, I don't even understand how you can do that.
You don't make sense.
How can you consistently be nasty to somebody like that?
Yeah.
You would have to be so toxic and jacked up. And it ain't them, it's you.
Pretty much, yeah, you would.
So I agree with him.
standards for people that you don't give a about, right?
No, you're
start
right,
with
Anton.
people- For people,
That's true.
you know, if you like him,
You're
are
gonna do it anyway.
absolutely
You're
going to
gonna
be
do it.
delighted. And so when you see a woman that operates like that, that means that she don't like him.
That's
if he
true.
has to ask her to have a better attitude, then that means that she doesn't like him. If it has to be something that she needs to work on, it means that she doesn't like him. All right.
Yeah.
And this is one of the problems that come along with transactional relationships that people don't like to have a conversation about. Everything is transactional in life. However, to lead with that being transactional, and this is one of the reasons why you have to vet for things that's more than the surface of a bullshit that we see on a regular basis, right? We don't vet for people that are going in the same direction that we're going in. We don't vet for people that have good character. We don't vet for people that actually is more aligned with who it is that we are and that we actually care for. You don't hear women talking about falling in love anymore. We are missing a heavy proponent that will keep you in times where you will then make, because everybody is going to go through some. Let's just say, for example, okay, you are paying 100% of the bills, and then somebody get laid off, or there's a lull in whatever it is that's happening from a business perspective. You're going to have tough times. You are going to go through some. There is going to be some uncomfortable moments. It's going to be some stuff that happens. But the love and the thing that you love about the person, the thing that you like about the person is what's going to sustain you, even when they have potential, even when they were doing everything. What's going to happen when they're no longer able to provide? Are you willing to step up and do the other thing and still have a good attitude? Usually, if you do.
And this is coming from a man who went from having a lot of money, I don't know how much it was, to losing almost all of it, having to move back in with his parents, with his wife with him. And now being a multimillionaire. And he's right. If you don't like the person, when y'all go through rough times,
you ain't gonna make it.
That's why the marriage rate is what it is. And I said this in another video, but just to correct people on the whole marriage percentage, because everybody likes to talk about marriage, about being so bad, which is another narrative that's being put out there because they want people to not get married because you're easier to control.
Y'all pay attention.
It's easier to control you if you're not married and if you're all sectioned off and if you're not forming communities, they have nothing to fight against. It's almost like getting the unions out of workspaces, because now we don't have to treat the workers a certain way. When there are no families for men, they don't feel the sense of purpose that will bring them up to fight the system. If I have no family, it's just me, man. I'm gonna be in here. I'm gonna play God of War. I'm gonna play whatever video game I want to. I'm gonna eat some pizza. I'm gonna get an apartment. I'm good, man. Men don't care about the stuff as much as women do, like the house and the car and all the, like, having that life. Women are the one who structure that because they care about it. And then it's also a better environment for the children. But if I have no wife and children, I'm just chilling. You can ask her. Like, sometimes she'd be like, bro, like, you don't feel like we need to go and clean out the garage? I'm like, well, nope. I can get in there to lift my weights, so I'm good. Honestly, I can lift my weights. I can get to the bike if I need to. I can get to the tools I need. I can get to the gardening stuff. I got gardening stuff, y'all. That's weird. Yep. I'm good. Like, I don't gotta, she's like, no, we gotta clean it out. We gotta move the freezer over into the corner. And we gotta do all that. She wants to organize that. And that's often how it's set up. I heard somebody say, women work for status and for self, men work for family. When we're talking about when someone is single women will go out and they'll work for themselves so that they can go, get up on the corporate ladder, so that they can have nice things, so that they can go on vacations. Men don't have as much motivation to do that when they have nothing else, because they don't care as much about the nice things as the women do. That's what he was trying to say. I think there's a whole bunch of holes in what he said, but I think there is something to be said about part of the reason that men aren't killing themselves trying to compete in corporate America and trying to get things like buying houses and things of that nature is because when they don't have a family, they don't really care as much. They just don't, because I know that there are stats talking about women are buying more houses than men that are like single, that don't have families. There are stats about, women are starting to really progress in corporate America and men are not. There are more unemployed men than unemployed women and stuff like that. When men don't have the family to fight for, they don't feel like they have anything to fight for. They don't have that sense of purpose if they don't have a family or a country to be fighting for. And I think that's a big part of it. The example was he, but I get what he was trying to say.
Okay. All right. Well, if you guys made it this far, go ahead and smash that subscribe button, turn on your post notifications, and give us a thumbs up so that way you can tell YouTube that you appreciate what we're putting down.
What we're putting down. I don't know what that was.
Hey, everybody. Down in the description, there are 2 links.
One is to a GoFundMe, and the other one is to a video that explains what the GoFundMe is for. Long story short, we have a medical situation with our daughter that we have to pay for everything out of pocket, and we could really use you guys' help. If you have the time, we'd love for you to go check it out. If you have the money, the funds, we'd love for you guys to help. If not, maybe you could send a link to somebody else who can help. We thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Press the off button.